Hey there, welcome to Pop Culture Cupid.
I'm Alison, love coach, here to help you single people find your way back to love.
And I'm Michal, I'm a single life coach. I help singles embrace themselves and their singleness, as well as develop a healthy self-relationship.
In this podcast, we will look at how pop culture impacts romance, dating, and your love life.
And each week we'll shoot another arrow through another pop culture delusion.
I thought we weren't going to do the whole cheesy thing.
And then burst into smithereens.
Oh my god, dude, that's so cringe!
Sorry, it's in the intro now.
If you make it through the chaos and you enjoy what you hear, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, and go to all the social media.
At Pop Culture Cupid on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Enjoy!
Recording in progress.
Hello!
Hi!
How's
Oh
it
my God,
going?
look at all my purple. I'm very purple today.
And I'm very black,
All my-
but it's my last. Yeah, you're a very purpley type of person.
Yeah, I am. I like icy purple, and I have like a purple radar, I think.
Yeah.
It's just like I see purple everywhere, and I just have to I have to have it. Oh, what's going on here? Anyway, how about you? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I just it was a short night on our end, but life happens.
Yeah.
It's winter, and it was so weird, and we're going to talk about climate change because we're that type of people apparently. It was very cold, and then it started getting like slightly, well, not warmer but less cold, and we were complaining about climate change, it's why are the temperatures so warm, it's so strange, and we're just this weird complaining about it being like bearable temperatures in winter, and now it's just dipped down again, and we're just like, we're just so complicated. Anyway, so get in and out
human mind.
Cold. Yeah,
I know, but it has, I feel like it has been like warm winters, or I don't know, maybe it's because I lived in different places for the past few winters, but I don't know.
well, I don't know either, but it's seeming like a particularly warm winter for me here in Lyon this year.
I love the way you say Lyon.
Lyon.
Yeah,
So
so romantic.
I had to get I've got all of my jumpers in and out, and the only like one left is a black one, and it's like a turtleneck. And I don't know if you see, but it's slightly transparent.
I can barely see. Is that necklace under it or over it?
It's under. The necklace is under.
Oh, so yeah, so I can see now that it's a bit that's cool. It's pretty.
Yeah, so I mean, when live, it's a nice jumper, but here it just looks like I'm covered up in black. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We need to talk.
That's fine.
We need to talk about the rip-off of Netflix that only gave us 3 episodes.
How dare they? They're such teasers. Oh my God.
On Wednesday at around 10, I was like, oh my god, the episodes are out, because you and I both work from home, and so we can just schedule our time whatever. And so I don't watch Love is Blind as in, I watch it and that's that. I have it on in the background.
Same here. Yeah.
And I was like, watch the first episode whilst doing something or other, and then the second, and then the third, and I was like, the end of the third episode looks a lot like spoilers for like what's going on, and it was only 3 episodes, and I was just
I didn't realize it until the very end. I was like, wait a minute, they're having like the same kind of flash forwards and like teasers, then it must mean that there aren't any more episodes yet to watch.
Exactly.
I was like, yep.
So
I mean, what a packed 3 episodes. I'm sure I missed a few things because I was like working while I was watching, but like,
I know.
Drama. Yeah, I've also looked up some comments. Well, I didn't actually actively look them up. I just saw that Love is Blind posted a few posts about like the season. And so I read some of the comments on the posts, and it was just very interesting to see how there's such different perspectives.
Mm.
And poor Chelsea, apparently it's gone viral that she said that she looks like Megan Fox, and apparently now everyone's like,
Oh,
you know, letting her have it. Which I mean,
yeah.
sure, she shouldn't have said it. I don't believe she had any ill intent behind it.
No,
I don't think
definitely
she
not.
meant to catfish him or anything. I really don't understand why people feel the need to come down so hard on people. It's like,
Yeah,
what's the fucking point? I'm sorry, pardon my French, but I'm like, what's the really all these keyboard warriors? I'm like, why? Give
yeah.
me one good reason why. I bet you can't.
And
Because
I will build on that on saying I agree with that. I don't think that she was catfishing. I feel that somebody may have said it to her once or twice, as in,
yeah.
oh, blue eyes, brown hair, big boobs, and things like that. And I think that she really loved it, so she just took it on, and so she just communicates it that way. And I think that's just her kind of just being insecure. But even if she did kind of mean to catfish him, let's just go down that route. Who cares? She didn't
Mm-hmm.
kill him. She didn't steal from him. She didn't, you know. I agree it's not the best and people should not catfish, but just like lay off it. People, you calm down, get over it.
Yeah, it's like it's as if it impacts their own lives directly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how? How does this impact you? Is this somehow affecting your day-to-day life, your functionality in your world? What's the point? Like, really, it's not as if they're doing it to try and better the world. They're not doing it to try and teach her a lesson and try to help her better herself. They're not doing it out of the goodness and kindness of their heart to really make the world a better place. They're doing it because they're bored and they just need to be mean. We have a sick human tendency to need to butt into other people's life and make them feel as bad as we do.
Yeah.
Because misery loves company.
Yeah, I
Um,
saw one of those very inspirational, deep, whatever shorts or reels or whatever it was, of just people project on you what they hate about themselves, and this did
uh-huh.
not teach
Yeah.
this is something that we know and everything,
Yeah.
but it is if people are so aggressive about something that's so minute, then
Mm-hmm.
it's just them reflecting on themselves and not dealing with their own shit, so they're just putting it on
Yeah.
you, and that's that. um and
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
anyway.
like, yeah, I find it also with myself that a lot of times the things that annoy me most in other people are the things that remind me of myself.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I mean, I was talking to so I nearly revealed this person's identity, and I don't think he would appreciate it. So a guy I know cheated emotionally on his previous girlfriend. And
mm,
he cheated it. So when I say emotionally, I don't think he maintains it, that never got physical, but he
hmm
just had an emotional relationship with somebody else, and it turns out
yeah,
that they are now together, and they've been together for a while, and his ex is with somebody
yeah,
else. Anyway, not cool. He cheated, and it's not cool. And other people
yeah,
like criticize him so much about it, and are so negative about it. And it was a while back, but when it was still fresh, people were just so horrible about it, and he was
hmm
not feeling too good about it. And I was just like, what? Like, mind your own business. Like, this does not concern you at all. You don't know him, you don't know
yeah,
her too well. Like, I agree if something wrong happened, but like, mind your own business. Like, nobody's lives were taken or whatever it is. Get over it. There are bigger things happening.
yeah. And it's not as if he's unaware and needs someone to wake him up and
Exactly.
tell and reflect back to him the ramification of action. Sorry? Your point.
Self-awareness.
Yes, exactly. When someone is aware of themselves already, they feel bad. You know, I always say like our worst critic is ourselves, and we already make ourselves feel bad enough. We don't need every other person in our life to do it for us. So
Yeah.
when you actually actively make someone feel bad, you'll actually make them feel even worse because they're already making themselves feel bad. And what's the point of that, you know? More often than not, they just need your support more than anything. So
Yeah,
it's just, why can't we just be better humans and
exactly.
get over ourselves?
I mean, amen to that. So yeah,
Yeah.
Chelsea.
Anyway,
But the spoiler for the next step, like the spoiler about Chelsea and Jimmy happened. Fucked, and it's the second time that we've had that. I was kind of expecting it this time round.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Jimmy, he just, you know, sweats of you know, not liking her, not, you know, that whole.
It's so funny that Jimmy's like what?
And I think he's trying so hard to not to not say, I don't find you attractive, I don't find her attractive. I think he's trying so hard to
Yeah.
put up a front for the cameras, of just, you know, he's probably thinking, I can't say, there is no safe space for me to say I don't find Chelsea attractive and it's a
Yeah.
problem for me, and blah, blah. And so I think he realizes that, and poor guy, I don't know, because he was a bit.
Yeah. Because
Well,
he
I
was
think,
expecting Megan Fox. I think maybe if she hadn't said anything about it, then she would have then it wouldn't have been as devastating. But
yeah,
because she set that bar and she put that seed in his head,
yeah,
there's only going downhill from there. Because the bar is here and you can't ever reach that expectation, you know? It's like it's just unattainable. There's nothing you can do about it. And you're beautiful and you're an amazing woman,
mm,
but you put a seed in his head and you set a standard that you can't uphold. So no matter what you do now, he's just going to be disappointed. And so if she hadn't have said anything, I think he wouldn't have been as disappointed probably.
yeah,
So
yeah.
who knows?
Who knows? And that whole situation where I can feel her. So that conversation that they had of she's being needy and things like that and sex and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I weirdly completely agree with both sides. I think both sides
Yeah.
are. I don't think that Jimmy. I think Jimmy is just this poor guy that just kind of got thrown in this thing. Like, he's not the best guy, but I don't think he's anything anywhere near toxic masculinity. I think he's just
No.
clumsy. Until he's gonna, you know, sleep with somebody else. We can talk about cheating later. But
Well, we don't know. It
I
might just be an accusation. Knowing them, they're just creating like the suspense, but
yeah,
they're not going to deliver on it.
they have to deliver. They built suspense about it twice. Like, once you
Yeah.
could get over it, but twice it has to be something big. But anyway, like, I think Chelsea just knows that he's not 100% into it. You know, you can tell that she knows.
Yeah.
And so she's grasping at straws, and I think she's, when he says that she was being needy, I think sadly that's true. Like, asking to be kissed, regardless of whether or not, you know, she's justified in asking for it, as in, you know, you haven't kissed me all day and things like that, I would find it weird as well. But the fact that she's asking for it, and the fact that she keeps coming over it and things like that, and that she's commenting on the form and everything, she is just becoming it needy. And you know, the more she's trying to hold on to him, the further away he wants to go. But then I also, you know, so I agree with, you know, the way, you know, and a friend of mine, I often talk about her relationship on this podcast, where she is now finally realizing that she needs to kind of let her guy, you know, on his side, that I don't really like their relationship. And so the other day I had her on the phone and she said, I'm just gonna let go and just see if he realizes that I'm, you know, just pulling back. I was like, yes, that's exactly what you need to do. And I think that's, you know, that's what needs to happen between Chelsea and Jimmy, of just like, you know, if you're feeling kind of, you know, I don't know how to say it, just like, you know, being distant. I'm sorry, feeling, you know, kind of like that void, and just, you know, she needs to fill her own void.
Exactly that. Hello, people. That's what I always say. When you don't fill your own void first, then you seek for other people to fill it, and then they're never able to quite fill it like you want, and then they only get frustrated from you.
Yeah.
And I just think that she's harping on the attention so much, like the whole "you didn't kiss me today" thing. She was just going on and on about it. Like, that's the thing, you know, you want to say it, make sure he understands, and move on. But like, she was just being she was being clingy. She was being very much annoying in that sense, you know, but he was also being quite annoying. So I like kind of understand. I also quite understand both sides. I do think that they eventually had a very healthy conversation about it. Like, after, when the next day, I think it was, they had a conversation. And for any couples out there, I think go watch that conversation, because that's more or less how a healthy conversation needs to happen. When you talk about something and you're able to say, I did this wrong, and then when someone tells you what you did wrong, you receive it in a constructive way and not freak out about it. So both sides are able to express themselves without the fear of being attacked, or without the fear of the other side becoming defensive. Like I wrote down, she said, you need to work on this, and I need to work on that. So it's like, you know, that's just how relationships work. And when you talk about it, you know, Zev and I had a conversation last night. He came over and I was still in my head from the whole day, and I was being a bit more cynical than usual. I was being a bit stingy, and it was annoying him, but he realized that I was in a space where I wouldn't take the criticism well. So he let it, you know, happen, and he let me calm down a bit. And then afterwards, when we were sitting and enjoying a glass of wine and we were already there, then he brought it up in a very calm manner. And he wasn't like, you know, you did this and you did that. And he was like just explaining it to me in such a calm manner, and in a way that I could really comprehend what was happening without getting defensive, and really understand where he's coming from. And so we could have this healthy conversation that helps us be better also for next time.
Yeah.
And avoid a big argument in the future.
Yeah. If we didn't, yeah. And I think that, I mean, obviously very healthy. Zev sounds very well balanced.
Yeah. He's learning, he's doing better.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy and Chelsea, they've got a longer road ahead of them. And
Yeah.
anyway, we've got that spoiler for next week, so we'll see what happens there. But and even last week, we were saying that they're you know, they're doomed.
Yeah. Oh my God, we've been going on about them. But there's also, so speaking of, you know, what may or may not happen with Jessica, I was also looking, there's a lot of comments about her, and it seems like most of the internet is Team Jessica. And I have to say that I think, despite everything, despite my thoughts on how she behaved and how she reacted to the breakup, I do think he should have picked her in general. I think he should have picked her, and she should have picked Trevor.
Yeah,
And
which is what Trevor was hinting at.
yeah.
Or when he was like back in the pods, saying if everybody said, you know, behaved well, everybody could go home happy.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Before the argument, I think that I agree it should have gone that way. I think how I remember Jessica and Jimmy is that Jessica got really angry before the breakup, and that's why they
Yeah.
broke up. And
Yeah.
so and so, you know, when you think about that, about just the way she reacted and just like handles her emotions, like I think Chelsea should have gone with Trevor, and I think, you know, Jimmy and Jessica should maybe been together, but not as it wouldn't have been a good relationship, because you know, the way she handles herself, and you know, you just, if he does end up sleeping with her, and it's not, you know, and it's not just clickbait or whatever, you know, is that really how you want your partner to treat you, with that drama
Mm-mm.
and that disrespect? And
Yeah, and that's not how you want the relationship to start, you know. That's as soon as you become the girl he cheats on with,
yeah,
no.
yeah,
It's like, I don't
I
know.
agree. I agree. And so, you know, people are team Jessica, and I'm just like, I'm team neither of them for Jimmy. It's
Yeah.
just, you know,
Yeah, I don't
Chelsea
get the hype
deserves.
around him. I feel like none of them would have looked twice at him if they had met outside of the pods.
It's, oh, well, I mean, Chelsea for sure, she said it, that he's not her usual type. I don't know about Jessica,
Yeah.
but it's just, I think it's just, you know, them two are the biggest drama, you know, the drama
Yeah.
centric couple. And, you know, studies have shown that the more you see somebody, you more that you're invested.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that's just that. I mean, I'm looking at a
Yeah.
list of the couples, you know, and you've got Amy and Johnny, and it's, you know, nothing, they're just so drama free. they're
Yeah.
not
It
they're not
just
content interesting, as in, you know, they're just so nice with each other. They you know, it's the beginning of the relationship, they are so, you know, balanced and calm, that they're not uninteresting, so nobody's really invested in them, because they're not really
yeah.
shown as much, even though they are
Yeah.
such a nice couple.
It just goes to show what we're like as humankind. We get
Exactly.
invested in drama. We get in. Well, I think it's so maybe that's even good in a way, because then maybe it sort of prevents us from seeking the drama in our own lives. So we need to seek the drama somewhere else.
Yeah,
Sort of like why we want to watch rom-coms so much, because rom-coms are just not real life. It just really is, and it's unattainable love. And so we sort of seek it out, like we seek out the drama in other people's lives because we don't want it in our life. We just enjoy it in other people's lives to get our fix.
I think you and I are a good proof of that, of just, we love Love is
Mm.
Blind so much, but we could not be dealing with this rubbish in our own lives. So I
No,
think,
no.
yeah, it is.
I tell Zev all the time, like, I don't know how we got to it, but we're like, people were like, I can't remember how we got to this conversation where we're like, let's argue, let's do as if we're arguing, let play pretend, and I'm like, actually, even pretending sounds exhausting to me. It's like,
Yeah,
who can be, who wants that? Like, it's just so, yeah,
yeah, I sadly
drama
agree.
free for life.
Another couple who's nowhere near drama free is Jeremy and Laura.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh my God, her and that Hawaiian fucking shirt. I think this is a classic case of she's not quite into him, but he's like sort of the whole package. So she has to cling on to something to try and convince herself why he's not for her. So like she's clinging on to the first thing that she can think of. Maybe, I don't know, it just feels that way. Like, are you serious? A Hawaiian shirt made that, may that be your, although I do think they have other issues, but may that be your biggest problem in life, you know?
Yeah, I agree. May that be that you'll be, you know. But he lied to her.
Yeah. Yeah, big no no.
And it's, you know, so we've had conversations about lying and cheating and things like that, and it, you know, lying and cheating is such a gray well, not cheating, but lying, it's such a gray kind of area of just, it's never okay, but sometimes it might be necessary, and people are only human, and things like that. But he just shot himself in the foot.
Yep.
And what I was going to say about cheating is that, I if you've been in a relationship for a while and you end up cheating for, any reason, I believe that it's something that you can get over depending on when you are in your relationship. If you've been together for 10 years and one of you just had, lapse in judgment or something like that, or whatever, or just, 20 years, and, that it's just not black and white. And, cheating I feel is a complicated subject matter. This being said, a couple of weeks into your relationship is too early.
Yeah. It's, you don't even have to cheat for it to not be okay. It's like going out in the middle of the night. It's not as if you went for brunch somewhere or met up in the afternoon or whatever, but it was like in the middle of the night after going out, God knows how drunk you were, and nothing good ever happens after 1 a.m. I'm like, no, or 2 maybe, but like, no, honey. Yeah, like what do you, even if nothing happened, even if you were just having a conversation, I understand how you can get sucked into it and feel in such a bubble. And this is another reason why you shouldn't do it in the middle of the night, because when something about the middle of the night makes you feel like in a complete, like, different universe. It enhances the feeling of that bubble, especially if you've been drinking. Yeah, exactly. So you're just allowing yourself to do something that you normally wouldn't, or that is morally wrong, and that is hurting another person. So what would it be and what's the point sitting there with her for hours and then lying about it? It's just, oh God, honey, like, seriously, have you never been in a relationship?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's and his attitude around it, of just like wearing his sunglasses and everything, I was like,
yeah, you ain't a rock star, just get over yourself.
Yeah. And
It's a
I can't, from the conversation that we were shown, I'm not 100% sure on, did he outwardly lie to her and she caught him because she woke up and went to see where he was and kind of, fibbed to just get the truth out of him? Or is she kind of digging for information? Do you see what I mean? Like, it's not, it feels like, he gave her a location figuring that she'd never see it. She ended up seeing it and he figured that he could lie about it, and she caught him in a lie. That's what it feels like. But he didn't really own up to it. He's not really owning up to it. And if I can understand the whole Jimmy and Chelsea situation and have some compassion for them, I do not understand this. And I completely agree with her that he could have just cut it off with whatever her name is. Is it Sarah? Regardless of whether or not he should have gone with her, because I kind of think that he should have at the beginning. Like, it felt that way. He should have cut it off. He should have just been very clear with her. She's playing a game. She's going after a guy who's, engaged. He should have, if he was coming from a honest standpoint of, I want to have a conversation with her because I did have feelings for her, which is, fair enough. He should have texted Laura, or called her, or just made her feel stuff like this, and this is going on, and I need for you to know that this needs to happen. And he should have been clear about it, and he wasn't. And the fact that he kind of was wearing the sunglasses and is being so kind of defensive about it just shows that he's so completely in the wrong, regardless of how it happened exactly. He douche. I was
Mhm.
going to say with that kind of misunderstanding that happened in the previous 6 episodes of like he kind of portrayed her in an odd way with like this weird joke that happened. You could say, you know, both of them is okay, doesn't really matter. But after that, I just, you know, you are, I mean, I do not think that they should make this work. Like this is just
No, it's just already very toxic. And he's a very immature. Like it was a very like he should have been the one to take her for a conversation. And he should have been the one to come and talk to her about it and not have like we call over here we call it like distance glasses.
yeah.
Like it's like sort of like creating a distance and he was just being all in himself. I think he did feel like a rock star in a way. And that's what happens when you have two girls after you in the pods and you sort of feel like the king of the world. Especially, you know what? This is probably a guy that never had two women come after him. And so now that he finally has it, thanks to the pods, he's getting drunk on that feeling. And he's on a high from it. So maybe in a way that's why he also wanted to see Sarah, because he wanted to continue feeling that like he has two women who want him.
I think I agree. I'm looking at a picture of him. I don't know. I think he's just, you know, one of these douchey guys.
Ordinary. I mean, they're all average Joes. That's the thing about this show. It's like, which is great. I think it's fantastic. I think it's good that they bring like, you know, the everyday average Joes. But it also kind of makes them, I don't know, feel more desirable than they
I
actually
think
are. And then
I
they
disagree. I
act.
think the guys are average Joes. I think that the girls are above average.
Oh, yeah. Well, yes. Yes. But they're not, you know, because I'm comparing still in my head, like to Love Island.
Oh
And
yeah, I
I'm
mean
like,
that's fine. You
just
know, no, yeah.
yeah, but yeah, no, the women are definitely more of a catch than the men are.
Yeah.
Always, always. You know, I feel like in general, a woman is always a better catch than a man. But and I say
Amen.
this, and I would never date a woman, but okay. Um, I just think they're getting high. Also, Jimmy, probably the same story. They're high on having two women after them.
Yeah.
They're not used to it. So it's like, you know, it's like a person having an alcoholic drink for the first time and they don't know how to hold it. They don't know how
Yeah.
to they don't know how to be drunk. So they're like, you know, all over the place and they're acting all silly, drink too much, and then they say and do stupid things. I think that's probably what's happening.
But you know, I think Jimmy is handling it in a way of just like, I think a part of him knows that he's, you know, he's not living his best version and he's not being the best version of himself, and he's handling it as, you know, he's trying to handle
He's
it
more mature.
until we find out that he sleeps with Jessica. Like, you know, I think up
Yeah,
until
although I
now,
still I'm having a hard time to believe that it actually
we'll
happens
see
because
next week.
every freaking season they have these teaser clips and it ends up being nothing. It happens every season. I remember they make it look as if there's huge drama, but then
imagine it's just a dream. Like she's just yelling at him about a dream.
I know. It's really funny. I had a dream not long ago that I cheated on Zev and I felt really bad in the morning. I was like, don't be angry at me. And he found it very funny.
Yeah. I think,
Such
yeah.
a strange.
So anyway, another couple that's not together anymore that we wouldn't have thought about, Brittany and Ken.
Mm-hmm.
That was so unexpected. I think that was handled so beautifully.
Sorry, what was it last?
It was handled, they handled it so beautifully of just, you know, you could tell that I mean, I think especially him, like he was so how to say, like elegant about it and graceful.
Yeah.
Not that she wasn't. I think that she kind of what she did was, I need to have a rough conversation, but you need to take charge on it.
Yeah.
Because
Ah,
the whole oh, this man's not waking me up. I was thinking, I'm pretty sure he was just waking her up for just like a kiss or something, or just, not even having
yeah, but
sex, because they're
no,
not having sex.
I would also get annoyed if someone woke me up in the middle of the night. I'm like, for any reason, unless the building's burning, unless, I don't know, there's a gun to your head, which, um, then don't wake me up.
Don't
Please
fight. I
don't,
mean,
don't,
I think
yeah,
it's just the way that she brought it of just like, I think, we're not feeling any attraction or whatever, the pull. And he was like, well, I mean, I am, and if you're not, I think that's a conversation that we need to have. And it's just leading to the breakup. And I think it was just,
yeah,
it's sad. You know, I don't know if she just needed a bit more time, or some or whatever, but I think it was very well handled, the way that they broke up.
yeah. I felt it was very sudden. I don't know why. Maybe because I was also working while I was watching, but I felt like it was very sudden. I was like, wait, what's happening? I had this
No, I
moment of
agree.
like, what? I don't know. There's a part of me felt a bit as if they gave up very easily, but when
Well, she
it's
did.
sort of like when kind of,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think she's the one that gave up. But when I think but again, I'm not throwing shade on her, but I think that she wasn't finding him attractive, and just kind of felt, I don't want to force this. And I think that he realized that he was going to be putting all the effort, and he didn't really want that. And that she needed him to give her an out, and he realized it. And I think that's just what happened.
yeah,
And that's it. I think nothing about anything else of just, giving up too easily. I agree with you that they gave up too easily. But you're allowed to give up. I think, if it gets to that point, then it gets to that point, and that's that.
yeah. It's it's line because on the one hand, I think a lot of couples give up way too easily because they're expecting fireworks and infatuations. They're expecting like butterflies, and real love takes time. I don't think it's like immediate love at first sight. I think it's something that builds with time and as you get to know the person. It's like talking to Zev about this the other day. I felt like every other relationship in my life, well, almost every other relationship, started here with like a boom and then slowly worked its way down. Whereas with Zev, it started very calm and mellow, and it was like it took me a while to get into it. So it started over here and it just keeps going up, like very stably and very like calmly, like all the way up. And so a lot of times like we expect and we want those fireworks, and we just give up when it doesn't happen, or we don't want to put in the effort. But then we also need to know when we're forcing something to work because we're scared of being alone, because we're scared of not finding anyone else. So it's like this kind of, weird place in the middle where you have to decide and be very honest with yourself and
Yeah.
find the balance.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the problem, I think the accelerator effect here is that, you're going to get married in a couple of weeks. If
Yeah.
they got given more time, I mean, maybe for the reunion, it turns out they would have stayed in contact, stayed in touch, and maybe end up going back together, which I wouldn't find too surprising.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, it's the fact that they get married within a couple of weeks. It's this whole thing of Love is Blind and like Married at First Sight and things like that, of just like accelerating into marriage. Marriage is so, if you want to get married, I think most people who want to get married consider it that it's a forever decision.
Yeah.
And I think everybody wants to, and I think people who want to get married hopefully think that they need to put effort into it. Now, there are exceptions, obviously, but you're thinking, if we're going to get married, then we know that when it becomes tough, we have to work on it. but you want to have a good, you know, how do I put this? You want to be, you know, aware of the person that you're going to be with, of just making sure that you want to fight for this person, and so you have to know them kind of well-roundedly, and you want to have a good run at it. And so knowing somebody for just a few weeks isn't enough. And I agree
It's
that
not
in
enough.
the pods, as in Love Island, you know, because you're so much with this person, you know, you get to know them faster than you would somebody else, but you still haven't seen them in all these other, you know, at a hotel, traveling, out for a meal, cooking, you know, things like that. You haven't seen everything about them. And so I think this is what happened to Brittany and Ken, of just, you know,
Real life situation.
yeah,
They got overwhelmed with the experiment. It just,
yeah,
something over there in the format works, but also doesn't work, and it's not for everyone, and that's okay. And just need to know how to, yeah, I think if they felt like it was the right thing for them to do, then that's the most important thing. But yeah.
And lastly, we've got
Ugh.
Clay and AD.
Yeah.
Clay. I think Clay.
Clay.
I think Clay has a good name. I think he can be molded. I think that there's just, it's too early
You
for
said
it.
that last time as well.
I know. I'm so funny.
You're so consistent.
I know. It's a nicer way. It's a nicer way of saying boring.
Yeah. No, you know what? I think. Yeah, go on.
Well, you go.
No, I was just gonna say, the thing about him is, yes, he puts his foot in his mouth and he says all the stupidest things, and he's a bit tactless at times, but he's also very self-aware.
I agree.
Like, on the one hand, he doesn't say stupid things, but on the other hand, he talks a lot about what he does and says wrong, and he's remorseful about it. So that sort of gives me the benefit sort of makes me want to give him the benefit of the doubt. But are you all talk and no actions? Because yes, it's good that you're aware, and that's the first step, but when does push come to shove? Like, when is the point where you show me actually doing the work to be better at it? I don't know. I think, but that sort of differentiates him from the other men, that he's, you know, he's taking accountability to his flaws.
I think he's kind of, you know,
So.
I agree, and what he said about, you know, having these role models, these black male role models of like Will Smith and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It is. I think he's terribly immature and terribly just unready for all of it, and just, you know, needs more time. But he knows it. He's aware of it. I don't think that they're going to get married. And last time we spoke about, you know, I was saying he wasn't a good, like, I wasn't a fan of Clay, but he's won me over. I still don't think they're going to get married, but not in a horrible way of just like AD is going to realize that he's not good for her. I think they're just going to realize, like, the maturity isn't there. And that's okay. And I think so. That's my prediction. My revised kind of like asterisk to my prediction of just, they're not going to get married, but I don't think it's going to be for negative reasons. I think it's just going to be, you know,
it just, you know, I had this another conversation I had with Zev about how I think that in previous relationships that I had, there were many important lessons that I learned about myself, about relationships, while I was already while I was still in that relationship. But it wasn't anything that I could implement anymore in that relationship. I learned a lot of things about myself and how to be better and how to create healthier relationships. But that was something that I had to take with me and implement in my next relationship. It was already too late for that relationship, if that makes sense. Like, I couldn't implement. I was in that relationship. I wanted to make it work. I tried to implement what I learned, but it's just too late, and it's just not going to work. And you have to move on and try to make it work with the next person with what you learned.
You know, when it's broken beyond repair, then it's broken beyond repair. you know, like if you want to do a metaphor, it's just, you know, if you drop a cup, you just know that you can't do that for next time, but this cup has already been dropped and it can't be repaired. You know, next time you have
Or
a
you can
cup,
do
don't
that.
drop it.
What's it called? The Japanese, there's a Japanese style, I forgot what it's called, where you repair something with like glue and gold dust, and then you make something beautiful out of something broken. I can't
That kind of
remember.
defeats what we were just saying, though.
It does. It does. I don't know why I felt the need to point that out. So, you know, again, it's like finding that balance, because, and I know that it's annoying that everything in life is like, you know, there's right on this side and there's right on that side, and you have to find the bits and pieces that work for you from both sides, and when you need to take from this side, when you need to take from that side, and how much, and just be
I mean,
balanced.
it's you
Yeah.
know, when you watch like these masterclasses of how to be your better self, and when you know, listen
Yeah.
to our podcast or read a book or things like that, we kind of, you know, make things general or talk about these general experiences, but it's so different for each person that, you know, it's why most, you know,
Yeah.
you can do the best you can, but the best that you can do is talk to somebody and have, you know, tailored advice to you. Because, you know, I said it during this podcast, you know, cheating is not okay, but sometimes you can get over it. Like, where do you fall in that category? You know, lying is not okay, but sometimes you just need to get over it, and, you know, and just accept it. You know, what lies can you accept? And, you know, you can't generalize. And it's with these, you know, Instagram accounts, you know, you'll have people telling people to lower their standards, higher their standards, and things like that. And, you know, where do you fall in that category? And it's good to have self-awareness, but it's also, you know, you just have an outside opinion kind of to guide you in the right direction. And it's just, yeah, it's tough. You know, you can't, if there was a recipe of just like, you read this book, and then
Yeah.
and then you'll be set, that person who writes that book, who's like just so universal, is going to be a freaking billionaire. And you know,
Yeah, I read that somewhere. Someone who said that if there were a secret recipe, maybe it was in Mark Mason's book.
maybe.
But he's like, in his second book, I can't remember now what it's called, but I think it was him that said, like, if there was a secret recipe or secret strategy, then that person will be very rich and very, very famous, but there isn't. And if someone's selling you one, then they're scamming you, because there isn't a secret recipe for you to follow perfectly. It's like you have to, it's like you can't also mimic someone's success step by step. You have to tailor it to your own needs and personality and life, and just in general to adapt it to yourself, because every person is different, and every person has things that work for them and don't work for them, and every person is able to learn certain things while the other one can't quite comprehend it. It's like, you know, one person is brilliant in math, and the other one, no matter how many hours you sit with him on math, won't get to that level.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of accepting who you are and what you were born with, and accepting that you know, certain things are just not for you, and certain things won't work for you like they worked for someone else, and find what will work for you that won't work for them, because there are many. So yeah, c'est la vie.
C'est la vie.
My very
Good
limited
note
French.
to good note to end on. I think, you know,
Yeah.
sound off in the comments of what, you know, so many things. Just, you know, tell us what you think. Who's going to be together? Who's not going to be together?
Who's
Can you
gonna
get
get
over
married in
cheating and
the end?
lying? Who's going to get married? I think, I mean, the only couple for me getting married is I've
Amy and
forgotten the
Johnny.
name of
Oh,
them.
they're so adorable. I
They
love them
are.
with the dance class. I'm like, oh, it's so cute.
They are.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, and so next week we'll have the other episodes. I think there are 2 more weeks of episodes. There's one, like, I think there are 3 next week, and then there's a reunion the week after that.
Yeah, should be interesting. So
Should
follow
be
us along. I mean, I think it's worth giving us a follow, and and then seeing what we have to say next, what other
I
pieces of nuggets we have awaiting.
I agree.
Yes, and like us. We want you
Like
to
and follow
like
and
us.
share and everything and be our friends.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Be our friends. We need more people in the house.
Did you say that while looking at a dog?
No, I said that while looking at a mosquito,
Oh, all right,
but
yeah,
he
the dog's
flew
a fly.
away. Sorry. We just like wrote like that of yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.